Imagine waking up tomorrow and telling no one about your goals. No social media announcement, no long conversations about your next big plan, no promises, no declarations, no need to convince anyone that this time will be different. Just quiet work, quiet progress, quiet discipline. Now ask yourself one question: would you still pursue your dream if nobody applauded you along the way? That question is uncomfortable because it reveals something many of us never notice. Sometimes we don't chase success, we chase the feeling of being seen. We confuse attention with achievement, recognition with accomplishment, being noticed with becoming valuable. And somewhere along the way, we begin talking more about the life we want than actually building it. Modern life encourages this habit every single day. You can announce a business before you've served your first customer. Declare yourself an entrepreneur before you've earned your first dollar. Share your fitness journey before completing your first workout. Post motivational quotes while avoiding the difficult work those quotes demand. None of these things are inherently wrong. Sharing can inspire others. Celebrating progress can build community. But there is a hidden danger. Sometimes the applause arrives before the achievement, and when that happens, something inside us changes. Psychologists have discovered that publicly announcing goals can create a false sense of accomplishment. The brain receives a small emotional reward simply from talking about what we intend to do. For a brief moment, it feels as though we've already moved closer to the finish line. But feelings are not progress. Words are not results. Intention is not transformation. Imagine a builder standing before an empty field. Every morning, he gathers the entire village. He describes the beautiful house he plans to build. He explains how strong the foundation will be, how magnificent the windows will look, how impressive the finished home will become. The villagers applaud. They admire his vision. Then everyone goes home. The next day, the field is still empty. Months pass, years pass. The speeches become more inspiring. The house never appears. Now imagine another builder. He says almost nothing. Each morning before sunrise, he quietly lays one brick, then another, then another. The villagers barely notice him. They don't applaud. They don't celebrate. But one day, they wake up and see a beautiful home standing where there was once only empty land. The first builder wanted admiration. The second wanted results. Life quietly asks us every day, which builder are you becoming? There is another reason silence feels so difficult. Human beings naturally want recognition. We want someone to notice our effort, to acknowledge our sacrifices, to appreciate our progress. There is nothing shameful about that desire. It is deeply human. But when recognition becomes the reason we work, our peace becomes dependent on other people. And that is a dangerous place to build your happiness. Think about the strongest oak tree in a forest. Does it announce every inch it grows? Does it demand applause every time another ring forms beneath its bark? Of course not. It simply continues growing, season after season, storm after storm. Its strength is developed in silence. The same is true of character. Real confidence grows quietly. Discipline grows quietly. Wisdom grows quietly. The most important transformations often happen where no one is watching, yet our culture constantly teaches the opposite. We celebrate visibility. We reward constant updates. We admire appearances. It's easy to believe that if people don't see your effort, it somehow doesn't count. But history tells a different story. Some of the world's greatest achievements were built during long periods of obscurity, long before anyone recognized them. Long before success became visible, the work had already begun. There is an old story about a bamboo farmer. After planting bamboo seeds, he watered the ground every single day. Weeks passed, nothing appeared. Months passed, still nothing. Even after years, the soil looked empty. His neighbors laughed. You've wasted your time. Nothing is growing. But the farmer continued watering the ground, patiently, faithfully. Then one season, something remarkable happened. The bamboo suddenly burst through the soil and grew astonishingly fast. People thought the growth happened overnight. It hadn't. For years, the roots had been growing beneath the surface, invisible, preparing for the height they would eventually reach. Success often works the same way. People notice the breakthrough. They rarely see the years of unseen preparation, the early mornings, the lonely evenings. The failures, the quiet practice, the invisible discipline, those hidden roots become the foundation of everything that follows. Perhaps that is why the Stoic philosophers placed so little importance on praise. They understood that applause is temporary, character is permanent. Praise can disappear overnight. A strong character remains. Imagine carrying two bags. One is filled with compliments, the other with discipline. The first bag feels wonderful at first, but over time it becomes empty. The second bag feels heavy in the beginning, but every day it grows lighter because it changes who you become. One depends on the opinions of others. The other depends on your own choices. Which one will carry you farther? Marcus Aurelius ruled one of the greatest empires in history. Yet in his private writings, he reminded himself again and again not to become attached to praise. He understood that admiration is unpredictable. Some people praise you today and criticize you tomorrow. If your confidence depends on applause, your peace will disappear the moment the applause stops. Instead, he focused on something no one could take away: his daily actions, his integrity, his ability to remain true to his values whether people noticed or not. Imagine how much emotional energy you would recover if you stopped measuring your progress by how many people noticed it. What if your standard became something entirely different? Not attention, not validation, not recognition, but quiet excellence. The kind of excellence that doesn't need to announce itself because sooner or later the results become impossible to ignore. Over the next few chapters, we'll explore why the human mind craves recognition, how psychology explains our addiction to attention, and why Stoic philosophy teaches that the loudest success is often built in complete silence, because there comes a moment in every meaningful journey when you must decide. You can spend your life talking about the person you hope to become, or you can quietly become that person until your life speaks louder than your words. Imagine you've spent months working toward an important goal. You've sacrificed weekends. You've woken up before sunrise. You've practiced when no one was watching. Finally, you achieve something meaningful. What's the very first thing you feel tempted to do? For many people, the answer is immediate. I want to tell someone. There is nothing wrong with celebrating success. Sharing joy is part of being human, but sometimes the desire to be recognized becomes stronger than the desire to grow, and that is where the problem begins. Deep inside every human being lives a simple question: do I matter? We don't usually ask it out loud. Instead, we ask it in quieter ways. Did anyone notice? Did they appreciate my effort? Did they like what I posted? Did they congratulate me? Recognition feels good because it temporarily answers that hidden question. For a moment, we feel seen, valued, important. Psychology explains why. When we receive praise, approval, or admiration, the brain releases chemicals associated with pleasure and reward. It creates a brief emotional high. The feeling is real, but it is also temporary. Soon, the feeling fades, and the mind quietly whispers, maybe I need more compliments, more followers, more attention, more applause. Without realizing it, many people become trapped in an endless cycle, not building a meaningful life, but chasing the next emotional reward. Imagine drinking salt water while crossing a desert. For a brief moment, it seems to satisfy your thirst. But the more you drink, the thirst only grows stronger. Attention works much the same way. When your happiness depends entirely on recognition, no amount ever feels enough. Someone praises your work, you feel good. Then you wonder why someone else didn't. Your video gains 10,000 views. You celebrate for a day. Then you compare it to someone who reached 100,000. You receive admiration. Then you begin fearing the day it disappears. The mind keeps moving the finish line. That is why external validation can never create lasting peace. It constantly asks for more. The Stoics understood this long before psychologists gave it a name. They believed that anything outside your control, including praise, status, and reputation, could never become the foundation of a peaceful life, because what others give, others can also take away. There is an old story about a young musician who dreamed of becoming famous. Every evening, he performed in the town square. At first, only a handful of people stopped to listen. He smiled anyway. He loved the music. As the years passed, larger crowds gathered. People applauded louder. They praised his talent. Slowly, something changed. He no longer practiced because he loved music. He practiced because he feared disappointing the crowd. When fewer people came one winter evening, his joy disappeared. His passion had quietly become dependent on applause. One day, an elderly violin maker visited him. After listening quietly, the old man asked, "When did you stop playing for the music?" The young musician looked confused. "You spend more time listening for applause than listening to your own heart." Those words stayed with him forever. Many of us have become that musician. We started with genuine purpose. Then, somewhere along the way, we began measuring ourselves through other people's reactions. Modern technology has amplified this struggle. Never before in history have so many people been able to compare themselves with so many others. Every day we scroll through carefully edited victories, promotions, luxury vacations, perfect relationships, fitness transformations, business success, awards, smiles, achievements. Rarely do we see the failures, the lonely mornings, the setbacks, the self-doubt, the years of invisible effort. Comparison becomes inevitable, and comparison quietly steals satisfaction. The Stoics offered a radically different perspective. Instead of asking, "How do I compare to others?" they asked, "Am I improving compared to who I was yesterday?" That question changes everything, because now the competition becomes internal. You are no longer racing strangers. You are growing yourself. Imagine climbing a mountain. If you spend the entire journey staring at another climber, two things happen. First, you stop appreciating your own progress. Second, you increase your chances of losing your footing. The wiser climber occasionally looks around for perspective, but keeps returning their eyes to the path beneath their own feet. Life rewards that kind of focus. There is another hidden danger in seeking recognition. It often leads us to speak too soon. Think about how many times people announce a goal before taking the first meaningful step. "I'm going to write a book. I'm starting a business. I'm getting into the best shape of my life." The announcement feels exciting. Friends encourage them. People congratulate them. The emotional reward arrives immediately. But days later, the difficult work begins. Suddenly, the excitement fades. What remains is discipline, and discipline is much quieter than excitement. This is why some of the wisest people protect their goals until they become habits, not out of secrecy, out of focus. A seed doesn't announce itself before becoming a tree. It develops roots first. Only then does growth become visible. Your dreams deserve the same protection. Not everyone who hears your plans will support them. Some will doubt them. Some will laugh. Others will unintentionally weaken your confidence with their own fears. Silence gives your goals time to become stronger than outside opinions. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. As emperor, he had every opportunity to seek admiration. Instead, he reminded himself repeatedly that true greatness comes from living according to virtue, not chasing praise. He measured success differently, not by how loudly people celebrated him, but by whether he remained just, wise, courageous, self-controlled. Imagine ending each day by asking yourself one simple question: did I become a better person today? Not, did anyone notice? One question builds confidence. The other builds dependence. Eventually, every person reaches a crossroads. One road promises quick attention. The other promises lasting character. The first is loud. The second is quiet. The first offers immediate applause. The second offers lifelong peace. and history repeatedly shows that those who choose the quiet road often create the loudest legacy. Because the people we remember most were rarely the ones who talked the most about success. They were the ones who became so committed to excellence that success eventually spoke for them. And no one embodied that quiet strength more powerfully than the philosopher-emperor who ruled Rome without allowing praise or criticism to define the man he chose to become. His name was Marcus Aurelius. Imagine being the most powerful person in the known world. Your words can move armies. Your decisions shape the lives of millions. Every victory is celebrated across an empire. Every mistake is judged by history. If anyone had the right to seek admiration, it was Marcus Aurelius. Yet he spent remarkably little time trying to impress anyone. Instead, he spent his life trying to master himself. That is one of the greatest paradoxes of Stoicism. The more power Marcus gained, the less interested he became in proving he deserved it. Each night, after leading armies, settling disputes, and carrying the immense responsibility of Rome, he wrote private reflections, not for the public, not for historians, not to build a legacy. He wasn't writing a book, he was training his own mind. Those private notes would later become known as Meditations, one of the most influential works of philosophy ever written. The remarkable thing is that Marcus never intended anyone else to read them. Think about that for a moment. One of history's greatest leaders practiced self-improvement in complete privacy. No audience, no applause, no recognition, just an honest conversation with himself. What does that tell us? Real growth doesn't require spectators. It requires sincerity. Marcus often reminded himself that fame was temporary. He watched respected leaders become forgotten. He saw heroes praised one generation and criticized by the next. He understood something that many people spend their entire lives resisting. Reputation changes, character remains. There is one idea woven throughout Stoic philosophy that feels especially relevant today. Focus on what you control. At first, those words sound simple, but they become life-changing when you truly understand them. Can you control whether people admire you? No. Can you control whether strangers misunderstand your intentions? No. Can you control whether everyone recognizes your hard work? No. What can you control? Your effort, your discipline, your honesty, your response, your choices. Everything else belongs to the world. Imagine holding a rope in a fierce storm. One end represents your actions. The other represents other people's opinions. You can hold your end firmly, but the moment you try controlling both ends, you'll be dragged through the mud. Freedom begins the moment you release what was never yours to carry. Marcus Aurelius understood that success built upon other people's approval is fragile. Success built upon virtue is nearly impossible to destroy. History offers another remarkable example. Consider the life of the Japanese swordsman Miyamoto Musashi. Although he lived centuries after the Stoics, his philosophy reflected many of the same principles. Musashi became famous not because he constantly announced his greatness. He became legendary because of relentless discipline. He practiced endlessly, observed quietly, learned continuously. He once wrote that true mastery comes from polishing yourself every day, not from seeking recognition. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. The hammer strikes again and again and again. No one applauds each individual strike. No one gathers to celebrate every small improvement. Yet each strike strengthens the steel. Character is forged the same way. Every morning you choose discipline instead of distraction. Every evening you keep a promise you made to yourself. Every time you remain calm when anger would be easier. Another strike, another layer of strength. Eventually, people notice the finished blade. They rarely witness the thousands of quiet moments that created it. The Stoics believed this hidden work mattered most. They often compared life to an actor performing on a stage. Here's the difference. You don't choose the role. You don't choose how long the performance lasts, but you do choose how well you play your part. Marcus Aurelius never asked, "Will history remember me?" he asked. Am I acting with wisdom today? One question chases legacy, the other creates it naturally. There is a powerful story about a sculptor working on an enormous marble statue. For months, visitors watched him carefully carving details that seemed impossible to notice. One visitor finally asked, "Why spend hours shaping a part no one will ever see?" The sculptor smiled. "I'll know it's there." That answer captures the heart of Stoicism. The greatest standards are the ones you keep when no one is watching. Imagine if your work ethic stayed the same whether someone praised you or ignored you. Imagine if your kindness remained unchanged whether anyone thanked you or not. Imagine if your discipline depended on your values instead of your mood. That is real freedom, because now your motivation comes from within, not from applause. Psychology calls this intrinsic motivation. People driven by internal purpose tend to persevere longer, recover from setbacks more effectively, and experience greater satisfaction than those motivated mainly by external rewards. The Stoics understood this nearly 2,000 years ago. They simply described it differently. Virtue is its own reward. Modern science and ancient philosophy quietly agree. The strongest motivation grows from the inside. Marcus Aurelius also warned himself against arrogance. Success can be dangerous, not because success itself is harmful, but because success often whispers a subtle lie: you've arrived. The Stoics rejected that idea. They believed growth never truly ends. No matter how wise you become, there is always another lesson. No matter how disciplined you become, there is always another temptation to overcome. Humility protects progress. The moment you believe you have nothing left to learn, you stop growing. Think about rivers. The deepest rivers usually flow quietly. The shallow streams make the most noise. The same is often true of people. Those with genuine confidence rarely need to announce it. Their calmness speaks for them. Their consistency speaks for them. Their results speak for them. This is why truly successful people often surprise us. They don't spend every conversation talking about their achievements. They ask questions. They listen carefully. They keep learning. They remain students even after becoming masters. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet his greatest battle was never against foreign armies. It was against his own pride, his own anger, his own ego, his own desire to react emotionally, because he understood something timeless. The hardest person to conquer is yourself. And once you begin winning that inner battle, the outer victories become far more meaningful. That is the quiet strength Stoicism invites us to cultivate. Not success that needs constant recognition, but success rooted so deeply in character that it no longer depends on attention, because when your actions consistently reflect your values, success eventually finds its own voice. It no longer needs yours. And perhaps nowhere is that truth more visible than in the extraordinary power of those who achieve remarkable things without ever feeling the need to announce them. Their silence is not empty. It is filled with purpose, filled with discipline, filled with confidence, and over time, that quiet confidence becomes impossible for the world to ignore. There is a strange irony about success. The louder people talk about it, the less time they often spend creating it. And the quieter people become, the more remarkable their results often appear. Why? Because silence creates something that noise cannot focus. Imagine two archers standing side by side. The first spends hours telling everyone how accurate he is. He explains his training. He describes the trophies he plans to win. He posts every practice session for the world to see. The second says almost nothing. Every morning before sunrise, he quietly picks up his bow. He misses. He adjusts. He practices again, day after day, month after month. When the competition finally arrives, only one person's arrows consistently find the center of the target. The difference wasn't talent. The difference was attention. One invested energy in appearing successful. The other invested energy in becoming successful. Life quietly rewards the second person far more often than the first. Psychologists have long studied something called delayed gratification. It is the ability to resist immediate rewards in exchange for greater long-term success. This skill influences almost every area of life: health, relationships, learning, business, financial freedom, personal growth. The challenge is that modern life constantly encourages the opposite. Everything is immediate: instant messages, instant entertainment, instant opinions, instant recognition. Our brains become conditioned to expect quick rewards, but meaningful success almost never arrives that way. It asks for patience, discipline, consistency, the willingness to work without immediate evidence that your effort will pay off. There is an old story about a stone bridge that connected two villages. Travelers admired its beauty for generations. They praised the graceful arches, the strength of its design, its ability to survive floods and storms. One day, a young traveler asked an elderly builder, "Which stone is the most important?" The builder smiled. "The one nobody notices." Confused, the traveler looked around. The hidden foundation beneath the river. No one ever sees it, but without it, nothing above would still be standing. Think about your own life. How much of your future depends on things no one else sees? The books you read, the promises you keep, the discipline to wake up early, the courage to continue after failure, the quiet decision to practice instead of procrastinate. Those hidden foundations determine whether success can stand when storms arrive. The world usually celebrates the visible results. The Stoics celebrated the invisible preparation. Marcus Aurelius believed that excellence was not an event, it was a way of living, a collection of ordinary decisions repeated consistently. He understood that greatness rarely appears dramatic while it is being built. It looks ordinary. Wake up, do your work, remain honest, stay disciplined, treat others with fairness, improve a little, repeat tomorrow. This rhythm lacks excitement, yet it quietly creates extraordinary lives. Modern psychology supports this wisdom. Researchers describe a concept known as identity-based habits. The idea is simple. Long-lasting change happens when your habits reinforce the person you believe yourself to be. Instead of saying, "I want to become successful," you begin asking, "What would a disciplined person do today?" Success stops feeling like a distant destination. It becomes something you practice every morning. Imagine an old watchmaker sitting alone in a small workshop. Hour after hour, he adjusts tiny gears that almost no customer will ever notice. He polishes invisible parts, measures movements with incredible precision. Someone watching might wonder why he cares so much about details hidden inside the watch. The answer is simple. Those invisible details determine whether the watch will still work 20 years from now. Character works the same way. The invisible habits become the visible future. There is another reason silence is powerful. It protects your energy. Every conversation requires attention. Every argument consumes emotion. Every unnecessary announcement invites opinions. Imagine carrying a bucket filled with water across a long field. Each time you stop to explain your plans, a little water spills. Each time you argue with critics, more water disappears. Each time you seek validation, another portion is lost. Eventually, very little remains for the work itself. Silence keeps the bucket full. Your energy stays focused where it belongs, on building, not broadcasting. History offers countless examples. Many inventors worked for years before anyone recognized their ideas. Many authors wrote manuscripts that were rejected repeatedly. Many athletes trained long before standing on a podium. People often remember the breakthrough. They rarely remember the thousands of ordinary days that created it. Those quiet days mattered most. Think of a seed buried deep beneath the soil. No applause reaches it. No one congratulates its roots. No headlines announce its growth. Yet beneath the surface, life is unfolding. When spring finally arrives, the world celebrates the flower. The flower knows the real work happened long before anyone noticed. Your own life follows the same pattern. Don't mistake invisibility for failure. Some seasons are designed for roots, not flowers. The Stoics would encourage us to welcome those seasons, because roots determine how high we eventually grow. Imagine standing inside a cathedral under construction. Workers carefully place stones one by one. The roof is unfinished. The walls remain incomplete. Dust fills the air. Anyone visiting halfway through might assume nothing impressive is happening, but the master builder sees something different. He doesn't judge the cathedral by today's appearance. He judges it by tomorrow's potential. Perhaps you are standing in that unfinished cathedral right now. Perhaps your business is still small. Your skills still developing. Your confidence still growing. Your dreams still invisible to everyone else. Don't confuse unfinished with unsuccessful. Some masterpieces simply take longer to reveal themselves. The greatest danger is quitting because nobody applauded the foundation. Remember this: the world often notices success at the moment it becomes visible. Life rewards you for every invisible day that made it possible. So continue laying bricks, continue strengthening your roots, continue sharpening your skills, continue becoming the person your future requires, quietly, patiently, faithfully. Because one day, people will call your success sudden. Only you will know it was built during the long seasons when nobody was watching. And when that day arrives, you'll understand one of Stoicism's deepest lessons. Real success never needed your voice. It only needed your consistency. Because consistency, practiced in silence, eventually becomes the loudest statement you will ever make. And once you understand that truth, your focus shifts forever. You stop asking, "Who is watching?" and begin asking, "Who am I becoming while no one is?" By now, one truth has become impossible to ignore. The strongest people are not always the loudest. They are often the quietest, not because they lack confidence, but because their confidence no longer depends on being noticed. They have learned something the Stoics understood centuries ago. Real success is built in private long before it is celebrated in public. The question is no longer whether silence has power. The question is this: how do you build that kind of quiet strength every day? The answer isn't found in one life-changing event. It's found in ordinary habits, small decisions repeated consistently until they become part of who you are. The first habit is simple: protect your goals before you announce them. Imagine planting a young tree. Would you expose its fragile roots to every passing storm? Of course not. You protect it while it grows. Your dreams deserve the same care. Not every goal needs an audience. Not every ambition needs approval. Sometimes the safest place for a dream is inside your daily routine, not in public conversation. Speak less about what you're going to do. Spend more time doing it. There is a quiet confidence that comes from knowing your progress doesn't depend on applause. The second habit is one Marcus Aurelius practiced constantly: win the morning before seeking the world, before the opinions, before the notifications, before the headlines. Spend a few moments directing your own mind. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? Not, how can I impress people today? The difference is enormous. One question builds character, the other builds performance. Marcus reminded himself each morning that he would meet difficult people, criticism, and unexpected obstacles. He didn't prepare to control them. He prepared to control himself. That simple habit changed the direction of his entire day. The third habit is one many people underestimate. Become addicted to consistency instead of excitement. Motivation feels wonderful, but motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. Think about a river. It doesn't carve through rock because it is powerful for one day. It succeeds because it continues flowing day after day. Your habits work the same way. Read 10 pages. Exercise for 30 minutes. Practice your skill. Keep your promise. Repeat tomorrow. The results may feel invisible at first. That doesn't mean nothing is happening. The roots are growing. The fourth habit may be the hardest. Stop measuring progress through other people. Comparison is one of the quickest ways to lose focus. Imagine running a marathon while constantly turning around to watch everyone else. Eventually, you'll stumble. Life asks something different. Keep your eyes on your own lane. The Stoics believed the only meaningful comparison was between who you were yesterday and who you are today. That standard never becomes unfair. Every evening, ask yourself, did I improve even slightly? If the answer is yes, celebrate quietly. Progress deserves gratitude, not publicity. The fifth habit is one that protects your energy. Learn to disappear from unnecessary noise. Not every debate deserves your opinion. Not every trend deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your response. Modern life constantly competes for your focus. Every notification whispers, "Look here." Every headline says, "React now." Every distraction steals a little more of your future. Imagine your attention as a flashlight. Wherever it shines, growth follows. If your attention constantly shines on distractions, distractions grow. If it shines on your craft grows. Protect your attention as carefully as you protect your time. The sixth habit is deeply Stoic. Let your work become your identity, not your image. Many people spend enormous effort managing how they appear. They polish their reputation. Curate every detail, present an image of success. The Stoics asked a different question. Who are you when no one is watching? Imagine two houses. One has beautiful paint but weak foundations. The other looks ordinary from the outside but was built with exceptional care. Which house survives the storm? Character is your foundation. Image is only the paint. Storms always reveal the difference. The seventh habit is to embrace delayed recognition. This may be the most difficult lesson of all. There will be seasons when no one notices your effort, no one praises your discipline, no one sees the sacrifices you've made. During those seasons, many people quit, not because they're incapable, because they're invisible, but invisibility is not failure. It is often preparation. There is an old story about a craftsman who spent decades building violins. A young apprentice once asked, "How do you stay motivated when no one knows your name?" The old craftsman smiled. "I don't carve wood to become famous. I carve because every violin teaches me how to become a better craftsman." His purpose wasn't recognition, it was mastery, and mastery eventually created the reputation he never chased. That is how lasting success is built. The eighth habit is one that quietly transforms everything. Celebrate in private. When you reach a milestone, pause, be grateful, reflect on how far you've come, then return to the work. Success is not the finish line. It is another opportunity to remain humble. Marcus Aurelius never allowed victories to convince him that he had finished growing. Each success became another reason to practice. Wisdom, humility protected him from arrogance. Gratitude protected him from dissatisfaction. Growth protected him from complacency. Finally, there is one habit that brings every lesson together. Let your life become your message. Imagine meeting someone who rarely talks about success. They don't boast, they don't exaggerate, they don't constantly seek attention, but every promise they make is kept, every responsibility is handled with care. Every challenge is met with quiet determination. You trust them almost immediately. Why? Because consistency creates credibility. Words can inspire, actions create belief. The Stoics knew that the world eventually notices those who remain faithful to their principles, not overnight, not without setbacks, but inevitably. One honest decision becomes another. One disciplined morning becomes another. One quiet victory becomes another, until years later, people ask, "How did you become so successful?" They imagine there was a secret. There wasn't. Only thousands of ordinary days lived with extraordinary consistency. That is the real secret. Not talking more, not proving more, not chasing attention. Simply becoming so committed to excellence that your results begin telling your story for you. Because in the end, success is much like the sunrise. It doesn't announce that it is coming. It quietly appears over the horizon, and before long, its light is impossible for anyone to ignore. That is the kind of success worth building, the kind that never needs to shout because its character speaks louder than its words. And its quiet consistency leaves an echo that lasts far longer than applause ever could. Imagine that many years have passed. The goals that once seemed impossible have slowly become your reality. The long nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices no one understood, the failures you almost allowed to define you, they're all behind you now. You find yourself sitting alone as the sun begins to set. The world is quiet. For once, there are no notifications demanding your attention. No audience waiting for an update, no pressure to prove anything, only silence. And in that silence, you begin remembering the journey. You remember all the times you wanted to quit, the days when your progress felt invisible, the moments when it seemed like everyone else was moving ahead while you stood still. You remember watching others receive recognition before you. You remember wondering if your quiet work was even worth it. But then something remarkable becomes clear. The moments that truly changed your life weren't the moments when people applauded you. They were the moments when nobody did, because those were the moments that revealed who you really were. Would you continue when no one was watching? Would you remain disciplined without recognition? Would you stay faithful to your values even when success seemed far away? Those quiet moments shaped your future far more than any applause ever could. Think back to everything we've explored together, the modern obsession with attention, the psychology behind our craving for recognition, the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, the silent strength of consistent action, the daily habits that transform ordinary people into extraordinary ones. Every lesson points toward one timeless truth. The world celebrates results. Life rewards character. Results may bring admiration. Character brings peace. Results may attract attention. Character earns trust. Results may fade with time. Character continues growing until your final day. The Stoics understood something our modern world often forgets. A meaningful life is not measured by how many people know your name. It is measured by the kind of person you become while pursuing your purpose. Imagine two fires burning in the darkness. The first burns brightly for a few moments. Everyone notices it. Then it quickly fades away. The second begins as a small flame, almost invisible. But someone patiently feeds it every day, protects it from the wind, adds another piece of wood, then another. Years later, that small flame has become a fire capable of warming countless lives. Many people spend their energy trying to shine brightly for a moment. The wise spend their lives becoming impossible to extinguish. There is an old proverb that says, "The fruit tree does not call people to itself. When the fruit is ripe, people naturally come." Think about that. The tree doesn't advertise, it doesn't argue, it doesn't chase attention. It simply continues growing, season after season, root after root, until one day its fruit speaks for itself. Your life can become that tree. Every skill you develop, every promise you keep, every setback you overcome, every act of integrity, every quiet morning when you choose discipline over excuses, you are growing roots, you are producing fruit. And one day, people will notice what they never saw being built, not because you demanded attention, but because excellence eventually becomes impossible to hide. Marcus Aurelius never asked history to remember him. He simply tried to live one honorable day at a time. Ironically, that quiet commitment is exactly why history still remembers him today. The lesson is beautifully simple. Stop chasing recognition. Start chasing excellence. Recognition often follows. Even if it doesn't, you'll still possess something far more valuable: self-respect, inner peace, a life built on principles instead of applause. Before this journey ends, I want to leave you with one final challenge. For the next 7 days, Work on one goal without announcing it. Don't post about it. Don't seek encouragement before you've earned it. Don't look for approval. Simply show up every day, quietly. Let your effort become your conversation. At the end of those 7 days, ask yourself, did I become stronger because people noticed or because I stayed committed? That answer may change the way you pursue success forever. Remember this, you don't need to tell the world you're disciplined. Discipline will reveal itself. You don't need to convince people you're growing. Growth becomes visible over time. You don't need to announce your success. Success has a voice of its own. Your responsibility is not to impress the crowd. Your responsibility is to become the kind of person who would make your younger self proud. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one quiet day at a time. If this story inspired you, don't let it remain just another video you watched. Choose one lesson and begin living it today. Share this message with someone who is working hard in silence and needs the reminder that unseen effort is never wasted. And if you're committed to building a life of wisdom, discipline, resilience, and stoic strength, subscribe and join this community. Because here we don't chase applause, we chase character. We don't seek shortcuts, we seek mastery. And we don't measure success by how loudly the world cheers. We measure it by how faithfully we continue the work, even when the world is silent. So stay humble, stay patient, stay disciplined, stay quiet, and let your success speak for itself.